Hello, friends. Welcome to Listening Home. Today, we are going to listen to a story that will help you to learn English.
I saw my boyfriend holding another woman's hand. The worst part? That woman was my best friend. I still remember that night clearly. My hands were shaking so badly that I dropped my phone on the street. 3 years? I loved Kavi for 3 years, and Mira had been my best friend since college. I trusted both of them more than anyone else in my life. I never thought they would destroy me together. It started slowly. At first, I thought I was imagining things. Mira suddenly wanted to spend more time with us. She called Kavi bro and laughed loudly at all his jokes. Sometimes she texted him memes late at night. "Relax," she told me once. "You're acting like a jealous wife already." Then she laughed. I laughed too, but deep inside, something hurt. One Friday evening, I invited Mira to dinner at my apartment. I cooked pasta because Kavi loved it. We were sitting together, talking about work and life, but something felt strange. Kavi kept looking at Mira. Not normal looking, long looking, careful looking, and Mira noticed it too. I tried to ignore it. Maybe I was insecure. Maybe I was overthinking. That night, after Mira left, I asked him directly, "Do you like Mira?" Kavi looked shocked. "What? No. You two seem very close lately." He sighed heavily and put down his phone. "Yuna, seriously, she's your friend." "That's not what I asked." He stood up and walked to the kitchen. "You're making drama for no reason." That sentence stayed in my head all night. Because when someone avoids a question, it usually means something. After that, things became worse, little by little. Kavi started hiding his phone. Mira suddenly became busy whenever I asked her to meet alone. And every time the three of us were together, I felt like the outsider. One afternoon, I went to Mira's office to surprise her with coffee. She worked at a small design company downtown. I was excited because we had not spent time together for weeks. But when I arrived, the receptionist looked confused. "Mira left already," she said. "Left?" She told me she had meetings until evening. The receptionist smiled politely. "She left with her boyfriend about 20 minutes ago." I froze. Boyfriend? Mira was single. At least that's what she told me. I forced a smile and thanked her, but my chest felt tight. I immediately called Mira. No answer. Then I called Kavi. Also no answer. At that moment, my stomach dropped. I wanted to believe it was coincidence. I really wanted to. That evening, Kavi finally came home around 9. "You ignored my calls," I said quietly. "I was driving." "For 4 hours?" He looked annoyed immediately. "Why are you checking on me like this?" I stared at him carefully. His shirt smelled like women's perfume, not mine. I knew that smell. Mira always used vanilla perfume. Suddenly, I couldn't breathe properly. "Kavi," I whispered, "are you lying to me?" He rubbed his face tiredly. "You're becoming paranoid." Paranoid? That word hurt me more than shouting, because he made me feel crazy for noticing the truth. I didn't sleep that night. I kept replaying everything in my mind. Every laugh, every text message, every strange moment. At 2 a.m., my phone suddenly lit up. A message from Mira. "Can we talk tomorrow?" Only one sentence. but my heart immediately started racing. I replied quickly, "About what?" She didn't answer. The next morning, she asked me to meet at a small cafe near the river. When I arrived, she was already there. She looked nervous. Her eyes were red like she had been crying. The moment I sat down, I knew my life was about to change. "Mira," I said slowly, "what's going on?" She looked down at her coffee cup. Then she whispered something that made my entire body go cold. "I think Kavi is going to leave you." For a few seconds, I could not speak. The cafe suddenly felt too small, too quiet. I stared at Mira, waiting for her to laugh and say it was a joke, but she didn't. "What are you talking about?" I asked finally. Mira kept looking down. "He's confused," she said softly. "Things between you two have been bad for a while." I almost laughed from shock. "Bad? Since when?" She finally looked at me. "You fight a lot now." "Every couple fights sometimes. That's not the point." I leaned closer. "Then what is the point?" Mira opened her mouth, then stopped. She looked nervous, like she wanted to say something dangerous. And suddenly, I understood. A horrible feeling hit my chest. "How long?" I whispered. Her face changed immediately. "Yuna! How long have you been seeing him?" She looked away. That was enough. I stood up so quickly, my chair almost fell. "You're unbelievable!" "Please sit down," she begged quietly. "People are watching." "I don't care." My eyes filled with tears, but I refused to cry there. "You were my best friend. It wasn't supposed to happen like this." That sentence broke something inside me. Because she admitted it so easily. Not denial, not surprise, just guilt. I sat down again because my legs suddenly felt weak. "When?" I asked again. Mira's voice shook. "About 2 months ago." 2 months! For 2 whole months they smiled at me like nothing happened. I remembered movie nights together, group selfies, dinners, jokes. I felt sick. Did everyone know except me? "No. Does he love you?" She stayed silent, and silence can be louder than words. I covered my mouth with my hand. "Oh my God!" Tears finally rolled down my face. I hated crying in public, but I couldn't stop. Mira reached for my hand. I pulled away immediately. "Don't touch me!" Her eyes became watery too. "I never wanted to hurt you." "Then why did you?" She had no answer. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Finally, I asked the question that scared me most. "Did you sleep with him?" Mira closed her eyes slowly. I felt like someone stabbed me. I stood up again. "I'm leaving." "Yuna, wait." "No. You deserve the truth." I laughed bitterly. "The truth? Now you care about truth?" People around us were staring openly now. Mira looked embarrassed. "I told him to tell you," she whispered, "but he said he needed more time." "More time for what? To cheat better?" "He said he didn't want to lose you." That sentence made me angry. Lose me? Like I was some object. I grabbed my bag with shaking hands. "Stay away from me," I said coldly. Then I walked out of the cafe. The moment I reached outside, I completely broke down. I cried while walking down the street. Cars passed by. People stared at me. I didn't care anymore. I kept hearing Mira's voice in my head. About 2 months ago. 2 months! I remembered my birthday last month. Kavi kissed me in front of everyone. Mira smiled while taking pictures of us. How could they do that? How could they lie so naturally? When I got home, Kavi was sitting on the couch watching TV, like everything was normal. The sight of him made my stomach turn. He smiled slightly. "Hey, you're home early." I threw my bag onto the floor. "You slept with Mira?" His face lost all color. For the first time, he looked truly afraid. "Yuna, answer me!" He stood up slowly. "It's complicated." I laughed through my tears. "No, it's actually very simple." He tried to walk closer, but I stepped back immediately. "Don't touch me." "I was going to tell you." "When? After our wedding? After children?" He rubbed his forehead hard. "I didn't mean for this to happen." I was so angry that my whole body hurt. "You both said the exact same thing." His eyes widened slightly. "You met Mira?" "Yes." He cursed quietly under his breath. That reaction told me everything. He wasn't sorry for cheating. He was angry because the secret came out. I suddenly saw him differently. Not my loving boyfriend, not the man I trusted, just a liar. "How many times?" I asked weakly. He stayed silent. "Wow," I whispered. "That many." "Yuna, please listen." "No, you listen." My voice broke. "I loved both of you." He looked guilty for a moment, but then he said something that destroyed me even more. "I think I love her." The room became completely silent. I stopped breathing for a second. 3 years together, and that was all I was worth. I stared at him with tears running down my face. Then I noticed something strange. His suitcase was already near the door. Packed. Ready. And suddenly I realized something terrible. He was never planning to fix us. He was planning to leave me tonight. I stared at the suitcase near the door. My chest felt empty. Not angry anymore. Not shocked. Just empty. "You were really going to leave," I whispered. Kavi looked away. "I didn't know how to tell you." I laughed bitterly. "That's why you let my best friend do it first?" He stayed silent. That silence hurt more than shouting. I slowly sat down on the chair beside the window because my legs felt weak. My whole life suddenly looked fake. The apartment, the photos on the wall, the future we planned together. Everything felt like a lie now. Kavi spoke softly. "I never wanted to hurt you." I looked at him coldly. "But you did." He opened his mouth again, maybe searching for excuses, but I raised my hand. "No more lies tonight." For the first time, he looked ashamed. I wanted to scream at him. I wanted to throw things at the wall. But strangely, I was too tired to fight. "How long have you loved her?" I asked quietly. Kavi sat on the other side of the room. "I don't know." "That's another lie." He looked frustrated suddenly. "Why does timing matter now?" His words hit me hard. because he already gave up on us. That was the real pain, not the cheating, not even Mira. It was the fact that he stopped loving me while I still loved him completely. Tears filled my eyes again. You promised me forever. I know. You talked about marriage. I know. So when exactly did all that become meaningless? Kavi covered his face with his hands. We started having problems months ago. All couples have problems. You stopped listening to me. I stared at him in disbelief. You cheated because I didn't listen enough? That's not what I mean. Then explain it better. He stood up suddenly and started pacing around the apartment. We were always tired, always stressed. Every conversation became about bills or work or problems. I crossed my arms tightly. So you slept with my best friend. It wasn't planned. His voice became louder too. It just happened. I shook my head slowly. No. Choosing her every day for 2 months was planned. That sentence made him quiet again. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then my phone suddenly rang. Mira! Her name appeared brightly on the screen. Kavi looked nervous immediately. Don't answer. I stared at him carefully. Why? She's upset. I almost laughed. She's upset? I answered the call before he could stop me. Mira sounded panicked. Yuna, where are you? At home. Is Kavi there? Yes. There was silence for a second. Then she said something unexpected. You need to leave that apartment tonight. I frowned. What? Kavi suddenly looked terrified. True fear, not guilt. Fear. Mira continued quickly. Please just trust me this one time. What are you talking about? Before she could answer, Kavi grabbed the phone from my hand and ended the call. What the hell? I shouted. He looked angry now. She's creating drama again. No, you're hiding something. He avoided my eyes. That was enough to scare me. What aren't you telling me? Nothing. Stop lying to me. My voice echoed through the apartment. Kavi suddenly looked exhausted. Then he quietly said words I never expected. The apartment isn't mine. I blinked in confusion. What? It belongs to my brother. So? He swallowed hard. I lost my job 3 months ago. I froze. What? I've been unemployed. The room felt dizzy again. You went to work every morning. I pretended. I could barely process his words. You lied for 3 months? He nodded slowly. We were already struggling with money, I whispered. I know. And you said nothing? I was ashamed. Suddenly, many strange things started making sense. The stress, the late nights, the mood swings. But one question hurt more than everything else. Did Mira know? Kavi looked down. That answer was enough. Of course she knew. My best friend knew my boyfriend lost his job before I did. I felt humiliated, like the stupid person in everyone's secret story. She helped me, he admitted quietly. With what? Money sometimes. I stared at him. Then another horrible thought entered my mind. Wait! My voice became smaller. The necklace you gave me for my birthday." He stayed silent. I felt sick immediately. Mira bought it? He couldn't even look at me. That beautiful silver necklace suddenly felt disgusting in my memory. I ripped it off my neck so hard it scratched my skin. Then I threw it at him. "You let me thank you for it." "Yuna!" "You let me kiss you and cry because I thought it was special." He looked guilty again, but I didn't care anymore. Everything felt dirty now, every memory, every touch, every promise. Then suddenly, someone knocked loudly on the apartment door. 3 hard knocks. Kavi's face lost all color again. My heart started beating fast. "Who is that?" I asked. He didn't answer. The knocking became louder. Then a man's angry voice shouted from outside, "Kavi, open the door right now!" I looked at Kavi in confusion, but his terrified expression told me something terrible was waiting outside. The knocking became even louder. "Kavi, I know you're inside!" Kavi looked completely panicked now. I had never seen him like that before. "Who is that?" I asked again. He finally answered in a weak voice. "My brother." "The owner of the apartment?" He nodded slowly. Then the man outside shouted again, "You have 5 minutes before I call the police." "Police?" My stomach twisted. I crossed my arms tightly. "What did you do?" Kavi rubbed his face with shaking hands. "I borrowed money from him." "How much?" He stayed silent. "Kavi." "A lot." At that moment, I realized I never truly knew the man I loved. Not really. The front door suddenly opened. A tall man walked in angrily, holding a spare key. He looked around quickly before his eyes landed on me. His expression softened immediately. "You must be Yuna." I nodded carefully. "I'm Ryan," he said. "Kavi's brother." Kavi stood up fast. "Don't involve her in this." Ryan ignored him. "He already involved you." The tension between them felt heavy. Ryan looked tired, more than angry now. "I gave you months to fix this," he told Kavi. "You kept lying." Kavi looked down like a child caught doing something terrible. "How much money?" I asked quietly. Ryan answered before Kavi could. "Almost $20,000. I felt my legs weaken again. 20,000? Kavi and I had talked about marriage while he secretly drowned in debt. "How?" I whispered. Kavi finally spoke. "I invested in a friend's business." "And lost everything?" He nodded. Ryan laughed bitterly. "Not exactly. He also borrowed money to impress 2 different women." I stared at Kavi in shock. "What does that mean?" Rian looked uncomfortable suddenly. Then he sighed. Mira wasn't the only one. The room became silent. I slowly turned toward Kavi. "No," I whispered. His silence confirmed it. Something inside me finally broke completely. Not just cheating, not just lies, everything. "You had another woman too?" "It wasn't serious," he said quickly. I laughed through my tears. "That's your defense?" "Yuna, please." "No." My voice became cold, very cold. For the first time that night, I stopped crying. Because suddenly, I saw him clearly, not confused, not broken, just selfish. He lied because it was easier. He cheated because he wanted attention. He hid things because he didn't want consequences. And I kept blaming myself for problems I didn't create. I looked at Ryan. "Why are you telling me all this?" His face softened again. "Because someone should finally tell you the truth." Kavi looked furious now. "You're destroying my life." Rian stared at him in disbelief. "You destroyed your own life." Silence filled the apartment again. Then my phone buzzed. Another message from Mira. "I'm sorry." Only 2 words. After everything, that was all she could say. I looked around the apartment slowly. The couch where we watched movies together. The kitchen where we cooked dinner. The little balcony where Kavi once held me close and said, "I'll never hurt you." I almost believed that memory once. But people can say beautiful things while hiding ugly truths. I picked up my bag quietly. Kavi looked alarmed immediately. "Where are you going?" "Away from you." "Please don't leave like this." I stared at him for a long moment. "You already left me a long time ago." His eyes became watery. Maybe he finally understood what he lost. But it was too late. I walked to the bedroom and packed some clothes into a small suitcase. My hands were finally steady now. Strangely, I felt calmer. Not happy, not okay, but clear. When I came back out, Kavi was waiting near the door. "I did love you," he whispered. I looked directly into his eyes. "Maybe, but you loved yourself more." He started crying quietly then. Part of me wanted to comfort him out of habit, but I stopped myself. Some people hurt you and still expect your kindness afterward. I walked past him. Ryan opened the apartment door for me silently. Before leaving, I turned back one last time. Kavi looked broken standing in the middle of the room. But for the first time in months, I realized something important. I was not the one who should feel ashamed. He was. Outside, the night air felt cold against my skin. I breathed deeply. It hurt. Everything hurt. My best friend betrayed me. The man I loved lied to me for months. My future disappeared in one night. But deep inside, I also felt something new. Freedom, painful freedom. As I walked away from the apartment, my phone buzzed one last time. A message from Mira. "I know you hate me, but one day you'll understand why I told you the truth." I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I deleted her number. Some betrayals deserve forgiveness. Others deserve distance. And that night, for the first time in my life, I finally chose myself. Ending message. Trust is fragile. Sometimes the people closest to us can hurt us the most. But betrayal also teaches us something important. We should never lose ourselves while loving someone else. Pain can break your heart, but it can also open your eyes.